So we finally have watched the Bronco reveal in full.
Whew.
And was it good? Was it bad? Josh and I are going to kind of break down not just the marketing aspect of it, but the Bronco, the vehicle itself. So find out what we have to say on this episode. So like we said, we want to break down the actual marketing aspect of the Bronco reveal video. And I was talking to you and some of our other coworkers that were asking, where do we watch it? How do we go see it? And I really am a fan of the social media live releases because I put it up on my Roku. As I go to my YouTube app, watch it on the big screen, don't got to watch it on my tiny phone. So I did like that. It also had a countdown the whole time where it's like, you know, usually you have recommended videos on your YouTube feed and it's like, here's this. And the whole day was Bronco on there and it was saying it was counting down live in 8 hours, 6 hours. So I thought that was really cool. Kept me reminded because it was on the front of my page. Yeah. But I was totally expecting a C8 Corvette type reveal where it's like a literal 5-minute, you know, first generation through 7th generation. Here's how we got to this point commercial. And then literally an hour and a half of just whoever
crap and
astronauts coming up talking about which I did like the history of Corvette and the astronauts with the C8, but like I just wanted to see the C8 video. You know, I didn't need an hour and a half of Chevy spokespeople and celebrities, you know, related to the Corvette talking about it.
Right.
So what I thought was really good the way Bronco did it was here's a basically 6-8 minute infomercial about the Bronco and just like action shots in the actual rough and tough terrain, what you would expect to see a Bronco in. So to me that was a lot better, to the point. Took no more than 10 minutes out of my day, out of my night. So that was, to me, a lot better time management wise.
Right. And my fiance knows me well enough and Jacob knows me well enough that I'm not much of an SUV person at all, but
he is now.
I got goosebumps watching the way that was presented. Because to Jacob's point, we didn't have to sit through an entire hour and a half presentation, or we didn't have to, like, let's compare recent car releases. So like the Lexus IS was about a 30-minute deal.
A large Q&A forum is what it was.
Right.
Between a Lexus.
Well, a scripted one.
Yeah.
Very, like, no offense to Lexus, but I mean, you obviously had people on there specifically to talk about different things, to present certain points. I appreciate it. It's very Lexus fashion. But Acura also, when they released the TLX, I liked that as well. But this was the topper. I felt like this was, no lie, they went all out. This was, and it was only 11 minutes. Not to the point, I think, is when I was looking at it, it was like 11 minutes. And they presented it exactly in the way you would want to see a TV commercial, while also presenting it in detail, everything you need to know up front that would give you, like, excitement to buy it. And the fact that Ford's pre-order link to pre-order it after the video came out broke.
There's too many people on the site, and so it's like, we have too many people. You can no longer order the Bronco for the next however long until we fix it.
Right. And we work in this field right now, so like with marketing and how important that is, especially this is the tier 1 level. So we were talking about how the OEM, like Ford, presented it on their own YouTube page, makes it live. It's at the tier 1 level. No dealership specifically has to pay for that. It really helps the brand as a whole. And usually it's not as powerful. Majority of the time when it's at the tier 1 level, you're dealing with a situation where it's very just random, like just general opinion. It's like, here's a very specific situation where the Bronco's like, here's why you gotta love it.
Which is the whole objective of tier 1 marketing is, as a whole, here's a new vehicle. That's what you see a lot of tier 1 marketing is, here's the vehicle, or even like a bunch of the Silverado commercials, like here's why Silverado's better than the F-150. That's the entire commercial. And then when you start to get into tier 2 and tier 3 where it's like, oh, Josh Ford is selling the Bronco at 30 grand and Jacob Ford is selling it at 25 starting out. Like that's when you get to lower levels of tier level marketing. But tier 1, this is the epitome of tier 1, is here's why the Bronco is awesome.
Yeah.
And really most of the video was, what does Jeep have? Well, here's why the Ford version is better. What do they have? Ford's better than that.
My favorite term they used throughout that video was the fact they kept saying, this is a class exclusive. And I think they're talking about like the 360 crawling camera.
Yeah.
As well as the memory that it can hold from your fun times you have off-roading, that it can hold in those cameras, and you can go download that, similar to how we're doing this video.
Yeah.
I think you're able to actually
has
take
like
it,
dash cam footage, and you can upload. They even said you could upload it straight to social media and share it with all your friends. So.
I couldn't think of a better way for Ford to sit there and be like, yeah, this is going to be like, most of the time when you see these situations like we're talking about, like the Bronco, I think if it comes out exactly the way they presented it, it's like a concept car finally making it to the dealership.
Yeah. There's so many different features and aftermarket accessories, or you say aftermarket, but like after purchase or with purchase accessories you can get with this vehicle that apply to any customer. So people who are more want to share stuff with their friends on social media minded, that's an awesome feature, which GCG might have to buy one for the channel now. But like going into the actual features, some of the things, there are 7 trim levels right now, from the base all the way up to the first edition one, which is already sold out, pre-ordered. I think
Crazy.
2 days after the video, which those are all the ones, first edition like it sounds, the very first Bronco. I think there's about 3,000 of them that they made for that Ford's making. So starting from the cheapest one, you have the base, of course, nothing fancy with that trim name, but that's roughly pretty much 30 grand even MSRP. Comes standard with the 2.3 EcoBoost, and with the 7-speed manual transmission, you can upgrade to a 10-speed auto and even the 2.7 EcoBoost. So you go from a straight 4 to a V6 twin turbo. So those are some options for you. And then all the way up to the Wild Track comes standard with the 2.7 EcoBoost as well as the 10-speed auto. Most of the other trims below that come standard with the 2.3 and the 7-speed manual, and you got to upgrade to those other things. But you have all kinds of things. My favorite thing is the GOAT mode. Go over any terrain. And with some of these ones going from Outer Banks to Black Diamond to Wild Track, some of them have 5 GOAT modes, and some of them have all the way up to all 7.
Right.
So determining which one you get extra with those trims, I'm not sure which one is specific, but ones above the base come with GOAT mode.
Right. And I'm kind of weird, and I mean, if you've watched this channel enough, you know that I'm not as much into the off-roading aspect and more into like the tech side of these things. And my favorite features so far are something that I've seen. How does it, you might be asking, should this vehicle matter versus a Jeep Wrangler? Why is it advertised the way it is? Mm-hmm. In my opinion, when they start presenting things like 35-inch tires can come standard from the factory, you can also get this massive infotainment display in the vehicle. That's crazy to me. Like you show me a Jeep Wrangler that comes standard from the factory that has that.
Basically an iPad.
And you also have heated and air-conditioned seats that are available on the
on
Bronco.
some higher trims,
Yeah,
yes.
on the
The base
trims.
one won't, but some of the higher trims, as you go through the 7 of them, they do come standard, even heated steering wheel and stuff like that.
Right. And the fact that you have all of these different features, I think that's where, the Ford's saying not only can it conquer any terrain like with GOAT mode, it also can be a nice, luxurious ride, honestly.
Yeah, it can be, yes. And with, like we said at the beginning of the video, I think Ford said almost 200 or over 200 accessories and add-ons you can get at the dealership. That is just a whole step up on just the stock level game right there. Some people have been criticizing, it won't have the aftermarket support that Jeep does. Well, yeah, maybe not right now, but when aftermarket people get their hands on Bronco, it will. But Ford has already given them a leg up over a stock Jeep and what you can get at a Chrysler and Jeep dealership by offering all these accessories. So that's a whole different ball game right there, really.
And one last thing I'll tell you guys is there's already a third party out here in Texas that has put their advertisement out there telling people about how they can transform your regular 2.7 EcoBoost Bronco into a Coyote powered 5-liter V8 Bronco. And I've already looked into it, and it was roughly about $25,000, and that goes into them having to put in a brand new transmission as well as the engine. But all in all, could be worth it if you're that person that's got a little bit of chunk of change and you want a Mustang freaking powered Bronco, which is honestly, that sounds great. About 470 horses, whatever we got. Like let's pump them in there.
Oh yes, you put some more horses under your Bronco's hood, so.
More bigger, badder Bronco.
Oh yes, exactly.
But hey, if you guys are one of those people that has secured a first edition Bronco, let us know. That is super cool.
Oh, yes.
I can understand when it finally comes out if you don't want to let us review it, but we would love to hear you guys talk about it, because I know that even though the website shut down, a lot of those, because it's going to take about a year until we actually see some of those.
At least.
Not the Bronco Sports. Those are supposed to be here this fall. We'll see with everything going on.
But with the people who pre-ordered it, it's supposed to, I saw anywhere from 12 to 18 months to when you're supposed to see it. So
that's just crazy.
Yeah, so we'll be
sooner
waiting for a
rather than
while.
later is what we're hoping for, because it's one of my pet peeves to see. And Tesla did it really bad a few years ago, and they did, here's the Model 3, put your pre-order in, and then like 2 or 3 years later they finally have them. I'm like, my gosh, like you can't get people hyped up like that and then not give them what you're talking about. Like that's just crazy to
So
me.
be better, Ford.
Yeah, but either way, I think that all advertisement for vehicle releases needs to take note of what Ford did with the Bronco. I could not have gotten more excited about an SUV my entire life. I don't think. I mean, challenge accepted for any of you OEMs that are watching. Let's get this figured out, because that gave me absolute goosebumps. You guys, Ford Motor Company, kudos to you, because that was.
It was almost a Hollywood production for car advertisements. That's the Hollywood level for that. So.
Right.
So yeah, let us know what you thought about the Bronco commercial, and let us know if you agree with us, some things you're excited for about the Bronco, maybe some things you're not too excited about for the Bronco.
Right.
All criticisms for the vehicle are welcome in the comments or on social media. We want to see what the people are saying.
Right. And without further ado, that is Gulf Coast Gearheads signing off.